So what made you to write a book on artificial intelligence?
Like you have business leaders who understand profit and loss, ROI, but they don't necessarily understand the technical details.
How can the students start learning about AI even if they do not have a technical background?
Pick every single tool and play with it, but pick one tool that you are excited about, that you use on a day-to-day basis, and spend time with it. AI is both smart and dumb at the same time. Understanding how to interact with the AI tool so that you build these sensibilities around it.
So do you think the teachers in India need to be trained on AI?
So the students in India are already trained on AI. I think this AI is probably one of the first tools that has come from the students first, and then the teachers are trying to grapple with things.
Hello, welcome to edX. We are joined by Mr. Sairam Sundaresan, author and AI engineering leader. Welcome, sir. Welcome to edX.
Pleasure to be here. Thanks for having me.
Sir, many people are scared of AI. So we should be worried, or should we see it as an opportunity?
AI is a tool at the end of the day, and it is depending on who's wielding it that determines the outcome. So it can be a very helpful thing in some hands and maybe not so helpful thing in some other hands. It's important that everyone is AI literate, that people are taking the time to understand what it means for their lives, for their careers, and how they can leverage it for good. And that should be the focus of everyone. So I would focus less on the fear and what it means versus what can be the opportunities that arise because of it, and how you can make yourself something like a rising tide lifts all boats. So what is AI going to do for you? So think about amplifying your strengths and learning the things that maybe you've always wanted to do but never had the time or skills to do.
So what made you to write a book on artificial intelligence?
So typically AI books are of two categories. You will have books that are written for software engineers, meaning that they will be entirely written with code examples, and those are not accessible to people who don't come from a software background. And consequently, you also have books that are written for mathematicians and statisticians, so they have a lot of equations and jargon. And I wanted to write a book for people working in enterprise. Like you have business leaders who understand profit and loss, ROI, but they don't necessarily understand the technical details. And then on the other side, you have the engineering side who focuses on the technical details, feasibility of projects, but they don't quite understand the business implications. So this book is something I designed as a translation layer. So the business leaders can read it as a way to understand how AI works in very simple terms, without needing a background in coding or mathematics. And consequently, the engineering side can use it as a way to translate how their work can impact the business to their business leaders.
Sir, how can the students start learning about AI even if they do not have a technical background?
The easiest way to start is to start using a tool. So you don't need to pick every single tool and play with it, but pick one tool that you are excited about, that you use on a day-to-day basis, and spend time with it. Like try out different things. And it's very important to develop empathy and taste. When I say empathy, what I mean is AI is both smart and dumb at the same time. Meaning, like, as humans, if we ask another fellow human to do something, there is oftentimes an unsaid context that they immediately grasp. For example, if you ask, let's say a cab dropped you here at this venue and it needs to go back, and you need to go back to your home. Now, if you just call the cab driver, they will actually know that they have to drop you back at the same place. They know where they left you. Whereas if you think about the AI analogy of this, AI doesn't have that context. And so we need to build that empathy where we are able to communicate at a level where the instructions are clear and the AI can produce what we want. So to build that empathy, you need to spend time with these tools. The second aspect that you need to do to learn AI is to develop taste. Like what does good mean for you? What does not good mean for you? What would be an outcome that you would be really happy with? What is an outcome? Just understanding how to interact with the AI tool so that you build these sensibilities around it. That's a great way to start. And over time, if you're curious about how things work under the hood, you can always explore resources.
Sir, how do you think AI will change jobs for the next generation?
So that's a very loaded and tricky question. But I feel that everything has been changing. And in fact, AI is probably one of the most transformative technologies since the printing press or electricity. And there are a lot of roles that are going to evolve. For example, software engineering, you see that AI can write very decent code and can offload a lot of the things that you used to spend weeks and weeks on doing. However, it's not perfect. It often writes code that might be too over engineered, it may have bugs. And so then suddenly your job is no longer writing code, it's kind of steering the AI to write code that is has good principles, has good robust design. And so like there are jobs that are going to change that way, and then there are new jobs that are going to come, because once certain things are automated, now you all of a sudden you have time for new things. So then how are you going to pursue those? So the important thing is to pursue what you really enjoy and want to learn, and then keep upskilling yourself so that you're ready for the AI age.
Sir, what are the most important things people should understand about AI today?
AI is a probabilistic tool, meaning that it makes guesses. So do not treat it as if it's a factual entity. So if you ask AI a question, chances are it will give you a correct answer, but there are equal chances that it can give you answers that sound correct but are extremely hallucinated. And so if you blindly trust AI, you are in for a world of trouble. Instead, you should always trust but verify. And the second part about AI is it has implications on the planet. Like if you think about how these AI models are currently running, they take up a lot of energy from data centers that are used to power them. So that means a lot of electricity, and we need to find out where that electricity comes from. It also means that there's climate impact. And so when you're asking AI questions, make sure that the questions you ask are valuable. If you just ask it to just tell you a joke or do those other things, you are actually wasting the planet's resources. So having that kind of thought behind everything you do will actually make every interaction you have with AI more useful.
So AI is largely involved in our education system, in schools and colleges, even in exams also. So how we can inculcate AI in a proper way?
So the important thing to remember is that it's very easy for you to ask AI a question. It will give you the answers. If you ask it the steps of how it got there, nowadays there are models that can actually tell you how they started from question to answer. So that whole notion of here is a test, take it, or here is homework, finish it and come, that is no longer going to work. For students and for teachers, because it's a wasted exercise. Because here is what will happen: students will use AI to write the homework, and in all probability teachers who have 60-70 students, they will use AI to correct the homework. So then who is learning here? There is no value transaction at all. So the important thing is, first of all, identify what are good questions to ask, genuinely have curiosity and try to solve problems yourself before you ask AI for an answer. And then on top of that, use AI as a sparring partner. So you come up with the initial answer and then ask AI to poke holes in your answer, identify where it's wrong, where it's weak, and where you can strengthen, and then ask follow-ups of what else you can learn related to that. And the exam system, education system, everything has to evolve around this kind of scaffolding as opposed to memorization and blindly turning in homework.
So do you think the teachers in India need to be trained on AI?
So the students in India are already trained on AI. I think this AI is probably one of the first tools that has come from the students first, and then the teachers are trying to grapple with things. Whereas traditionally, like all other things have come through, say, a school, and then the teacher will learn it and then will inculcate it to the student. So yes, teachers need to learn AI for two reasons. One, it can make a lot of their roles easier, meaning that an AI model will have infinite patience. You can ask it the same question over and over again, and it can still teach you with patience. However, there are things it cannot do. For example, it may not know the emotional situation of a student. That is where the teacher can now spend more time. It may not know whether a student is grasping an idea or not. When you look at a student when you're teaching them, you can see it in their eyes whether they're completely zoned out and don't understand, or whether they are actually involved and understanding the subject. So those kinds of emotional and physical cues are things that a teacher can really bring in and augment themselves to use AI for the automatable stuff, and then focus on really teaching students. So that's what I feel.
So new engineering branches are coming up, artificial intelligence and data science. Many departments are coming up. So what do you want to tell about that departments coming up and the students passing out from these courses?
So the first thing is, it's fantastic that these are coming up, and there is a lot of opportunity in the AI space. But at the same time, the bar for entry is also going up, because if you imagine how many tools AI has like how many tools based on AI are coming out to do different aspects of the engineering life cycle, you suddenly need to be at a level where you are above that bar. So the competition is fierce. So this does not mean doom and gloom, but what it means is you should pursue something that you are genuinely interested in. If you just pursue something because it's a way to get a very lucrative career, that is the wrong mindset. Yes, AI related roles are particularly lucrative now, but they are not the be all end all. There are so many allied fields, like you can think about energy, physics, mathematics, you can think about semiconductors, you can think about language, history. All of these fields that were once considered maybe unglamorous are now all of a sudden in high demand, because AI is now automating a lot of the other things we considered very glamorous. So I would say don't over index on being an AI engineer or a data scientist just because everybody else is doing. Do it because you care, because you really think it's something you want to learn. And that's the mindset you should have for any field you choose.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so
My
much.
pleasure. Thank you.